On this episode of Siesta Key, Miami Moves, Kelsey stomps the runway, Jordana sews a hat, and Chloe stages an intervention funnier than any of the ones in How I Met Your Mother. I'm Lizzie Frizzle, and this is the Recap Corner. Today, we're talking about Season 5, Episode 5, wordily called We Gotta Put On a Good Show. In it, Juliet attempts to put on a good show that'll set JMP the label apart during Miami Swim Week. She even calls on old enemies turned friends, turned frenemies, turned really enemies, turned nothings to ensure her success. Juliet meets Lexi to share a plate of huevos estrellados while they engage in contractually mandated rehashing. In the wake of her birthday lunch last episode, where her friend Sophie revealed that Clark really did flirt with Megan at that yacht party, Juliet decides to chalk the entire situation up to miscommunication and Megan's general Meganness. She reminds Lexi and us that this isn't the first time Megan's messed with her relationship. But it kind of is. Last season, when Juliet and Sam broke up, he hooked up with Megan immediately after, which is sketchy, sure, but not to be like a total Ross about it or anything. He and Juliet were broken up. Also, if Juliet believes that Clark didn't flirt, then why'd the editors bother to sloppily splice together Sophie saying the opposite? Will it come up again later this season? Because it didn't for the rest of this episode. Juliet just brushes the entire storyline off by saying that Megan isn't the first girl to come after her and won't be the last. Cut to Kelsey, a girl who used to come after Juliet when she was a cast member on this show. Up until the move to Miami, Kelsey was one of Siesta Key's main characters. Her moving to town was the series' inciting incident. Now she's in Miami visiting friends, like Kara. But she also rented her own place and brought her dog, Bella, who's my new favorite character because she has the same name as my dog, Bella. When we last saw Kelsey, she was stressed out about her own swimwear business, the now defunct by Kelsey Owens. She was sad about her stalled out relationship with her boyfriend, Max. And she was struggling to sort through her friendship with Juliet after getting slapped in the face by her when Sam flew everyone to an island for a month so the show could continue filming despite COVID. Also, she was a brunette. Now, Kelsey is blonde again and seeming much happier, though I can't say if the two are related. She's enjoying her work as a brand ambassador. Recently, a car company even flew her out to Nashville to do something. Her relationship with Max is back on track too, but Kelsey describes it better than I ever could.
I just feel like either we're gonna go our separate ways or we're gonna choose to make this relationship work.
Duh. Things are going so well that Kelsey's even ready to repair her relationship with Juliet. Because when trying to be her rival gets you booted from the show, there's nothing left to do but mend fences. I mean, time truly does heal all wounds. Juliet's ready to move on too. And as a gesture of goodwill, she invites Kelsey to 2 JMP the Label Miami Swim Week events. The first is a yacht party that's also a professional event for influencers. Juliet texts Kelsey an invite to that. But the second event is more prestigious and requires its own meeting at a restaurant later in the episode. Things are a little awkward at first. Juliet and Kelsey make uninteresting chit-chat about Miami, like literally talking about the weather.
I'm like, I thought it was hot in Siesta Key. It's so hot here. Steamy.
After, Juliet gets down to business. She invites Kelsey, who used to be a professional model, to walk the runway in the JMP Swim Week fashion show. Kelsey accepts, but we'll get into the fashion show later because we've already spent too much time talking about JMP, the label, a real business. Let's pivot and talk about one of the series' many fake businesses instead. At this point in the season, we've heard a lot about the strangeness of Sam and Jordana's friendship. We hear about it even more in this episode, as Kara gossips first to Kelsey, then about 2 scenes later, she reiterates everything she said to Kelsey to her boyfriend, Michael. But what else are you going to talk about when you're making couples candles? Kara's concerned that Jordana's personality has become too heavily influenced by Sam and his lifestyle. She's also weirded out by the number of times she walked in on them platonically napping together, which is like the 4th time this episode of Siesta Key reminded me of Friends. With all this hearing and rehearing about Sam and Jordana's relationship, there hasn't been much time left over to hear about their business. Until now. We knew they were starting a faux fur company, but in this episode, we're blessed to learn not only the company name, but we also get to see some product. The company is called Fauxcus, like focus, but with faux instead of faux. Make sense? We see their logo and branding, all of which was, according to Google, designed by a marketing studio called Gleckle. And that Gleckle campaign was probably made and paid for by Siesta Key, because it's the only instance I could find of Sam and Jordana's company anywhere online. In this scene, Sam and Jordana prepare to prepare an official Fauxcus website with product photos that can be cross-posted to social media accounts. But it seems like they're still in the preparation stage even now, because when you Google Fauxcus, the result is an Instagram and a Twitter belonging to another clothing company with the same name. Both accounts have been dormant for years, but still. So, what kind of clothing will Sam and Jordana's Fauxcus sell? Knit beanies that say Fauxcus on them, of course. And, to be on brand, the hats have a faux fur palm on top. But the palms come separate from the hats, so Jordana has to hand sew all of them on.
We have quite a few friends who come by that have a lot of followers.
Oh no! I lost my needle, and I don't want to sit on it either. Pop my butt.
As Jordana pretends to sew, she and Sam debate how much to charge for their most luxurious item, jackets with, I assume, some amount of faux fur on them. Really, debate is too strong a word because it implies some sort of lively, active discussion, and Sam's in this scene, so...
So I'm thinking the price points for our beanies $500 to $1,500 with the jackets. I think the higher price point makes sense because the quality is going to be very good.
Yeah, 1,500. Like, is that a lot for a jacket? I don't really know.
Okay, isn't the point of a price point to charge a little more than what it cost you to make something? I don't think you're supposed to just pick a number or two numbers $1,000 apart. Also, Jordana, you can't talk about high quality while you're sitting on your sofa hand-stitching palms to beanies. At the end of the scene, Sam and Jordana express a vague shared desire to throw a Fauxcus launch party, which may or may not be the party of the week in a few episodes. Jordana encourages Sam to meet Megan for a friendly lunch date to apologize for being a bad boyfriend. I guess so Jordana can then invite her to the hypothetical launch, and the cycle of exes and enemies weirdly inviting each other to parties that the show is built on can continue. Now we've got to talk about 3 meetings over meals that are all important to the plot, but I couldn't find a good place to fit them into the recap. First, Lexi and Mike meet. Briefly. Just long enough for Lexi to break up with him amid some very close-up face footage. Earlier in the episode, we learned that the couple was apparently already on a break. More Friends rhetoric. But that doesn't stop Mike from harping on the Reddit rumor that Lexi made out with some guy in some bar in Del Rey. An unverified rumor that an anonymous person posted without proof online is now a significant storyline. That's the state of things here in Siesta Key Season 5. At another meal between recent exes, Sam awkwardly meets with Megan, per Jordana's encouragement. This scene actually happens way later in the episode, but I'm just gonna shoehorn it in here instead. It was so silly, and by virtue of that, it might be my favorite scene from the episode. There's a lot to take in. Like Sam awkwardly looking around the restaurant while he waits for Juliet's voiceover narration to finish.
Sam and Megan were dating for like 9 months. And when she expressed concern about their friendship with Jordana, he reacted by making out with her in front of Megan. So yeah.
There's another even funnier hold after Megan asks Sam a frank question about Jordana.
So you don't ever see her and go, I want to kiss this girl?
I regret kissing her.
But the best part about this scene is that during it, MTV tried to sell me the lowest quality looking Siesta Key themed bathing suit I've ever seen. Like off-brand Redbubble. It's a rad Burble bathing suit. And I can't believe MTV is selling them when it puts them in direct competition with the main character of this show and her fledgling swimsuit company. In other clothing news, Megan wears the same top to this meeting with Sam that Kelsey wears to her meeting with Juliet. And in the episode's chronology, those scenes happen back to back. Unfortunately, Megan's dialogue is less interesting than her fashion. She says that Sam and Jordana's kiss was hard on her because she and Sam were technically still together when it happened. What does technically still together mean when you're not even exclusively dating? When Sam insists that he values Jordana's friendship too much to be romantically interested in her, Megan insists that Sam is in denial. Finally, at the episode's A storyline meal, Juliet and her design partner Jamie meet with the PR pair Dara and Gwen. The beginning of this scene made me irrationally mad because everyone talks about how cute Dara's shoes are, but we never get to see them.
Your shoes.
Amazing. I was really going for like the 70s vibe.
I love those.
I get why you might not want to include just a close-up of a woman's foot on your TV show, but at least use a wide shot of the whole outfit. I like cute shoes with a 70s vibe too. Dara and Gwen prep Juliet about Miami Swim Week. First, she'll host a yacht party for influencers. But Dara and Gwen have some pretty specific specifications.
So Juliet, this is a business event. This is an influencer event. Make sure it's not just a party. Talk to the influencers. We need this on social media. It's important.
Okay. I mean, we're talking about the influencers here with 5 million plus on their gram, so let's make sure.
After the party, Juliet will host a swim week fashion show and participate in the prep for it, like choosing models and styling garments. The pressure's got Juliet feeling overwhelmed.
We're taking over everything. Yeah.
So major.
It's fine. It's just a lot of pressure.
Gotta stay high.
This episode, the party of the week, is actually 2 parties. In the A storyline, there's the JMP the Label yacht party. But before we talk about it, I want to talk about the B storyline party. Because it's one of the most surreal, most dystopian, most memorable in a bad way things that's happened on this show in a while. I want to talk about it so badly, but I also want to get talking about it over with. While JMP the Label parties on one yacht, Sam throws his own party on his own yacht. The beginning of this scene, before it gets kind of weird, has some of my favorite editing of the season so far. We see Sam talking to someone, and based on the episode's chronology, I thought it was Megan. I thought this was Sam's way of inviting her for a friendly lunch date, as Jordana suggested. But turns out the person Sam's talking to isn't Megan. And that's a good thing, because otherwise he'd come off kind of murdery.
I just figured it'd be nice to get you out here on the water and everything.
I
and
really
kinda
appreciate you putting this together.
Yes, Sam's real yacht guest is Mike, and a dozen anonymous women who are there to help him get over getting dumped by Lexi.
Mike's newly single, I think.
I got an attitude.
A quick look at Sam's social media reveals that he regularly surrounds himself with a nameless posse of similar-looking women, so he never has to spend even one single second alone. But for that to bleed into Siesta Key was honestly a little jarring. A gaggle of bikini-clad women coming to party with just you and your best friend. It's the kind of thing that happens in bad action movies, or the kind of thing that Brandon raps about. It's like cheesy, male-gazy stuff, and it feels way out of place, even on Siesta Key, a show that just a few episodes ago padded its runtime with close-up, slow-motion footage of someone's ass. Regardless, everyone has fun at the party. The women drink and dance and muster up as much feigned interest as they can, while Sam and Mike rehash storylines at them. Mike teases Sam about liking Jordana, but Sam defensively says he's never even kissed her. A wild response, considering there's footage not only of them kissing, but also of them talking about the kiss the morning after it happened.
Sam always makes out with like the girl he lives with, but they're just friends, like Jordana.
Yeah, but I actually don't because you're a liar.
So you never made out with her?
No.
But listen.
Eventually, Mike is made upset too by an Instagram post that we don't see. Apparently, it's of Lexi having fun at the JMP yacht party. Cut to the JMP yacht party, where Lexi is sitting alone, far away from anyone else, feeling sad because Mike abruptly unfollowed her on social media. Luckily for Lexi, the rest of the women in the cast are there to support her. Because even though Dara and Gwen told Juliet to stop inviting her friends to work events, Juliet invited all her friends to her work event. In addition to Lexi, Amanda, Chloe, Kara, Christine, Jordana, and Kelsey are all at the JMP yacht party. Luckily, they're all conventionally attractive enough that Dara and Gwen don't care.
It's a beautiful balance between some of your friends.
Yeah.
And
My friends are being good so far.
they are.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful, honestly.
They are. And we all have a lot of followers.
After Lexi is sufficiently comforted, attention turns to Jordana. Kara's concerns about her dependence on Sam have spread to the rest of the group. And who better to publicly address it than Chloe, the most level-headed cast member who gives the best advice and has never been in conflict with Jordana. If this is the first season of Siesta Key you're watching, then you should know that none of that is true. When Chloe tells Jordana that her husband Chris is at home doing the wholesale for their skincare company Emerald Ray, Jordana starts to cry, thinking about the love Chloe and Chris share and all the ways they support each other. Jordana wants that for herself, but Chloe warns that she won't get it living in Sam's mansion, pretending to clean and do chores while he hooks up with an endless conveyor belt of Instagram models. Leave it to Chloe, who I've always assumed would try to be a therapist one season if the show went long enough, to tell you what's wrong with your life, even if you're barely friends and you didn't ask. To clarify, I'm pro-therapy, just anti-Thera Chloe. The intervention escalates quickly and gets ridiculous fast. What started as Chloe talking to Jordana ends with Chloe, preaching at her while the rest of the cast sits in a circle around them.
There's no routine in the house. It's a mess. It's a revolving door. You've said this to me. There's girls in and out of there. Is that a good environment for you to be around? It's more about you getting sucked into a world that is not good for you.
Has been nothing but literally a good-ass friend to me.
Why isn't Christine in this scene? She's the only one who's at the JMP yacht party, but not in any of the footage shot there. At least she got paid for the day. And I hope Kelsey got paid double, because this reaction shot from the intervention isn't just living rent-free in my brain. It bought the land and is building its own condo. As Juliet holds Jordana's hands, even though their on-camera relationship is tepid at best. Chloe tells Jordana that she's not special, that anybody could fill her role in Sam's house and in his life. Because for Sam, it's not about Jordana. It's about not being alone. And I really, really hate to say this, but I think Chloe might be right. Eventually, Jordana is irritated enough to leave the circle, but it takes a while. Good thing none of the other women in the scene, like Juliet, were supposed to be networking at one of the biggest events of their young professional lives. Oh, wait. The day after the yacht party, Juliet shifts her focus to the JMP Swim Week fashion show. First step is to cast models. We see a montage of auditioning women. It's reminiscent of how every top model season started, with the addition of a Siesta Key classic, slow motion ass footage.
We have your card and we'll talk to you soon. This could actually make or break everything for our label.
Among the auditioners is Christine, who walks well, but is significantly shorter than an average runway model. Juliet casts her anyway, because if JMP is supposed to be a brand about body positivity and inclusivity, then why can't a size 00 former pageant queen who just happens to be 5'4" walk in the runway show too? Suddenly, it's time for the fashion show. Juliet and her design partner Jamie style the models backstage. Kelsey wears a pink one-piece to give the show a Barbie moment. As everyone is styled, very dramatic music plays. The kind you hear when, like, a war breaks out during a video game cutscene.
I bet Juliet her pants right now.
Why use such intense music to soundtrack a fashion show that's become the backdrop for Juliet and Kelsey to finally forgive each other? At the same time, all art is subjective, and what sounds like war music to me could sound serene as hell to somebody else. Speaking of serenity, before the fashion show begins, Kelsey, who's walked dozens of runways, helps Juliet relax backstage. They find common ground in a way that feels genuine and believable. Juliet's nervous for her first fashion show. Kelsey's nervous for her first fashion show in years. But she uses her experience to lead them both, especially Juliet, to a calmer place.
I can't believe we're here right now. It's gonna look great. Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. You're fine. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. There's so much energy right now. I'm like breaking out. It's just a lot. I feel like it's gonna be a lot and then it'll be over like that.
Really, throughout the entire episode, I think Kelsey comes off very well. Her acting is the best it's ever been. Probably because she's not slogging through fake storylines about her failing relationships. And her role provided a refreshing change from circling the other storylines' drains. The episode ends with the JMP fashion show. It's a professional success for Juliet, but an editing failure for the show. We see more choppily edited close-ups than we do runway walks. That is, until it's Kelsey's turn. Everyone waits in anticipation. It's been years since she stomped a runway. She takes her first steps and immediately trips and falls. Just kidding. She nails it. As I understand it, Kelsey was like a real runway model, a successful one. So to finally see her show off those skills, even if just within Siesta Key's alternate reality, was exciting. With Juliet basking on stage in her success, with Kelsey cheering beside her, their relationship newly repaired, and with the rest of the cast, or at least a few of them, applauding from the front row, the JMP Swim Week fashion show might be the most triumphant moment in series history. It was so uplifting, so celebratory, it felt like a finale episode. But luckily, it wasn't. Thanks for watching. Come back next Wednesday for another Siesta Key Miami Moves recap. When Madison makes her first appearance this season, Lexi and Mike argue about the Reddit rumor, even though they've already broken up, and Juliet plans a trip to Mykonos, frustrating the PR ladies. Isn't this the second time that Juliet's annoyed her boss via a poorly timed trip to Greece? In the meantime, if you're so inclined, please like and subscribe. Thanks again. See you next Wednesday. Bye.
I can't wait till the day where I can handle my emotions. That'll never happen. Maybe 26. Yeah.